Hey there guys, welcome back to Hursty Games and welcome back to our QPR Career Mode. If you're not all nice and caught up, go check out the playlist, get yourself caught up, and then of course welcome to today's episode. Today we are going to be finishing up the first transfer window since our return to the Prem. We have Crystal Palace as well as our next game, which I'm not sure if that will happen before or after the transfer deadline. I assume before, because the deadline time-wise would be after, if you get me. But just before the game happens, we are actually going to be making a quick transfer, a player that won't be featuring in this game because the idea is that it's happening like on the deadline day. It's happening sort of before everything sort of kicks off and goes down. And it is for a bit of squad depth. It's basically to try and add to a position that was slightly lacking in with general depth, with potential other competitions coming into effect and coming into play. And that is going to be picking up Cashin. Had a few people saying that he's good to pick up, maybe try and get him and stuff. So I'm going to, with the intention of him sort of being like kind of fourth choice. Obviously, I think he's going to probably have decent potential. 22 years old, 72 rated, nothing to turn your nose up at. And as a free transfer, I'm absolutely down to try and pick him up, hopefully get him on around £20,000 a week. But yeah, just thought it'll be good. Oh, I kind of wanted rotation. Ooh, important is going to end up being, I think, a problem. Well, I'm going to say yes to important. 5-year contract, that's fine. But yeah, I didn't really want him on an important contract. I'd have much preferred him to be on rotation because that's kind of what I'm planning. £20,000 a week is what I was going to offer him anyway, so absolutely okay with that. Just think it's a good idea to have somebody in as that fourth rotation centre back, because I have Ozzy to come in and kind of do that, but I don't know that he's going to be the answer long term in the Prem. But Cashin coming through the doors, very happy, as I say, to get him through just for general squad depth. And who knows, he might end up playing a bit of a bigger part than expected. Him and Jimmy Dunn sort of being those rotation choices, because we have got Oxford as our sort of main centre back, and we do have Clark Salter, who is 74 rated now, so he is the sort of main guy along. But Cashin comes in number 15, which he will be keeping, and he is ready to join the Super Hoops, and hopefully again maybe a slightly bigger role than we anticipate, but I don't plan on using him a crazy amount. So fingers crossed he can come in and just do what we need him to do. As we saw, 72 rated. We know it's an A because it's a free transfer. Hopefully his slight lack of game time doesn't cause issues. Fingers crossed. Also, it says we're in 6th. Obviously, we're only 2 games in, 1 win, 1 loss. But like, just to give it context, goal difference being 2, just because we had quite a convincing win, we actually could very easily be down in like 13th. So before everyone's like, oh my God, he's already in 6th, unrealistic. Yes, it is. But no, we're not staying in 6th. I would be very surprised. Doughty has now converted to be right wing back as his like primary position. And then, like I say, I'm now going to set him to do right back. It's taken a couple of weeks off of the ETA, so I'm okay with that. I think before it was like 88 down to like 59 or something like that, but now it's 53, so there's 2 weeks to convert him to a right back. We're definitely worth it. So it'll be a while till he's an out and out right back, but I think he'll do an absolutely fine job for us as that sort of current step in at the right back position. And good rotation for Pal if we need it. But we are now on match day with Crystal Palace. I will show you guys sort of what my plans are with the team. I like I say, wasn't really planning on bringing Cashin in, but it could be that Cashin maybe needs to come straight in. You can see Dunn and Ozzy are still not fully fit. Jake Clark Salter also not fully fit. So it's going to be that Cashin actually comes straight in with a Premier League debut. Wasn't my plan at all, but it's where we are. And my plan as well after this, I believe we then have a full week. So I'm going to set the entire starting 11, apart from Hamer, apart from Larson, Labrovich and Oxford, to focus on performance. So they are ready to play. And then we'll worry about the stamina. We'll then readdress that, because we should have weeks again between games. So like a whole week most of the time, apart from cup games. So that's the hope. But you can see rotation isn't going to be our best friend right now. So we'll try and avoid rotation where possible. But without further ado, we are going to take on Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. See if we can keep up the winning run. I mean, I didn't expect as big a win as we got anyway, but getting wins in the Prem is going to be huge for us if we do plan on staying up this season. And I do plan on staying up this season. That is the aim. That is the goal. So finish above the relegation spaces and I'm a happy boy. That is the intention. So let's get down to it, boys. Let's get that whistle to start the game going. Come on, you us. Good start here, by the way. Muriel on the ball early for Crystal Palace, bringing it into the box, cash in with an early sort of thing to think about, and I've pulled him all over the gaff here, all out of position, but thankfully we forced Muriel to play it all the way back. That could have been problematic because, yeah, I was absolutely giving Muriel so much space there with Cashin, and I'd pulled Pal out the way, and Cashin again being called too. Banks pulls it through, Labrovic with a good save, and we do eventually get it away. That was very scrappy for me. I'm giving far too much space to players in our box here. And they're just going to continue to, find these little pockets of space and probably cause us problems eventually. But Armstrong now, can he find Larson? Not quite. Good block from the defender. But yeah, I've just got to be careful to not give them as much space as I have been giving them, because that will end up biting us. Palace are knocking this ball around so nicely. They get ball into Banks here again. They've got Muriel in the middle. Oh, they try to find him. Oxford yet again being the man to get in the way, but they are just knocking the ball around really nicely, keeping possession, and I'm struggling to get the ball off of them, as you've now seen 2 times. But yeah, they're just really knocking it around for fun. Good tackle eventually, but Willock rides a tackle really well into Brun Larson, into Sinclair Armstrong, and very much against the run of play, boys, we have managed to take the early lead. 24 minutes on the clock, and it is 1-0 to QPR. Again, they have been all over us. It has been all Crystal Palace. The only chance we'd had prior to that was the chance you saw, which didn't really lead to much. It was good defence from Crystal Palace on that occasion, but on this occasion, it's very well played. Chris Willock with some good strength, good physicality to keep the ball and then win the ball afterwards, play the header straight to Brun Larson, who plays a lovely simple pass into Sinclair Armstrong, who finds the back of the net. Hodgson's hair having a madness. So at QPR, it's 1-0, boys. 2 goals in the Prem already for Sinclair Armstrong, and I'm very happy with that. Hamer plays it now to Willock. Willock down to Armstrong. Armstrong, just caught there at the back. Really good tackle, because it needed to be to stop us from just having a chance through that. I won't lie, I was going to just try and lay it off to Brun Larson, because I thought if Armstrong's got players around him, he's not going to have as clean a shot, whereas if I lay it off to Brun Larson, he's got time, he's got space, and he could have had a really good effort on goal there. So really good defending there from Palace, and good block there from Cashin, by the way. That didn't go unnoticed to help us win that ball back, but it has been just a very scrappy game, and I'm having to knock the ball around quite a bit to try and keep possession. Nathaniel Klein there with a good win against Ilias Chair, and again Muriel getting plenty of this ball. Muriel and Banks are getting plenty of possession to try and cause us problems, and it's very evident that they are getting the ball out wide and then cutting it in, and it is causing me problems to defend every time. Cashin and Powell working well together there to win that, and maybe one last chance here for us on the counter, because they are committing players forward. Really unfortunate for the whistle to be blown when it was, but yeah, we're playing a risky game, but we're defending pretty well. But Lewis Muriel has been, it says it's slowed at the office, he's had a lot of the ball. It says 9 touches. It feels like he's had the ball a lot more than that, but it's been difficult. It's been very difficult. I'll tell you one thing that's been very noticeable. No Abire Eze. I have a sneaking suspicion Abire Eze has been sold, and that's worth us bearing in mind for future potential manoeuvres, players to potentially look at down the line. I think, honestly, right now, I'm okay with everything going as it is. I want to keep Willock and I want to keep Chair both on the pitch, because their sharpness is really low. I mean, Willock's sharpness is literally 0, so it'd be very nice to keep both on the pitch just to get their sharpness up. But Chaplin is like the only substitute with maximum stamina, so worth bearing that in mind for some potential rotation. But second half, I'm not going to say more of the same, because I'd like a little bit more sort of composed time on the ball. And I'd like a bit of composure off the ball as well. I've been very erratic in the defence. And actually, 1 second here, Larson, lovely stuff. Good bit of play. Oh, I wanted that back to Larson. That's unfortunate. But yeah, it's been very risky defending, and it's been more that players like Oxford, for example, and Cashin in that occasion have just stepped in well at the right moments. So I just need to just try and keep a level head and not give away silly chances. And talking of chances, Nathaniel Klein running quite centrally here. Going to play it into Muriel. Muriel finds Banks at the edge of the box. Cashin, well blocked from Cashin. Really good stuff there. We get it away. But yeah, again, it wasn't clean, was it? Sam Field trying to bring this ball through the middle. Look at that run. Oh, I say look at the run, but I meant the run from Chair. Didn't quite find the ball. I think when the ball next goes off the pitch, I'm going to make some changes. It's about an hour gone, so some changes need to be made. Muriel bursting through. Oxford couldn't catch him, and Labrovic with a fantastic save because Muriel caught that ball fantastically. And I've made the changes I had mentioned, by the way. Scott Banks going off for Crystal Palace. We're taking off Larson, Chair, Oxford and Hamer, bringing on Chaplin, Dizelle, Dykes, Clark, Salter. So 4 like-for-like changes. It is just fresh legs 70 minutes in. I think they brought on Elise, by the way. I think that was... I was going to say, I think that was who they brought on. Oh, Clark Salter needed to be composed there to play that one out the back, and he was. I was a bit worried there because Labrovic had dived to block the shot that had already been blocked. That is going to be a red card. I'm pretty sure of it. Luis Muriel, the Colombian, sees red, both sort of mentally and physically showing the red card. It is not a pretty tackle. That is a very, very bad and very late tackle there. That is for sure. Henry Martin coming on for Boateng. Mate, that was just an erratic moment, wasn't it? That was just, I guess we're a bit lucky. Thankfully, no injury our end. And, mate, down to 10. We should hopefully now just be able to see this one out. It should just be a matter of more numbers on the pitch. Hopefully, we can add another number to our score. Armstrong took his time. Good block from the defender. But it's still 1-0. But now we've got the numerical advantage. You'd like to think we can see this one out now. We're going to try and bring this ball forward. Look at the space for Armstrong. We didn't find the pass. Richards was not necessarily near him, but the pass was nearer to Richards than it was to Armstrong, which is a shame. But only 5 minutes on the clock. Let's just see this one out now, boys. I'll let you guys sort of stick with me for these final chances. Well done there, Doughty. Gets it, wins it, plays the ball through that I wasn't actually asking for, but the fullback keeps Linden onside comfortably. And he hits it wide. I've maybe slightly rushed it. I maybe should have taken another touch or two, just a bit nearer to the goal, giving ourselves just a slightly easier and better chance. Correa coming on here, a fullback for, I think, Frank as a central midfielder. So an interesting substitution, as I'm assuming Correa is coming on sort of in that sort of cam role or not. I don't know, maybe he's playing left back. I'm not too sure. But let's not worry about who's playing where. Let's worry about the fact that that clock is ticking down. Ref, I'm not being funny, mate. You stopped me in a much clearer chance than this. Well done, Clark Salter. Sam Field wins the ball at the end there. And that there is back-to-back wins in the Premier League. Very happy with that indeed. 3 wins on the bounce as well. It's worth noting, I feel like, and this is something that I think EA didn't address in the previous FIFA, seeing some of the players that were on the substitutes bench for Crystal Palace there, unless they've made some big signings, I feel like they played a weakened side against us because we're a lower rated team. We've just come up from the Championship, and obviously our average squad rating is a lot lower than Crystal Palace. And not being funny, Palace wouldn't do that. Teams wouldn't do that. Very few teams would like massively rotate their whole squad just because they're playing against a smaller opponent, teams like Man City have got that level of depth. Teams like Man United have got that level of depth. But I'm curious now as to who they started and who was on their bench. So in goal, they played Johnston. To be fair, that's not crazy different from Henderson, but Henderson is 80 rated and you'd think he should start. Anderson should be in that starting team because they're starting centre-backs. Although Richards had a very good game, Boateng is 63 rated. Do you know what I mean? That's it's not right. Guehi playing at left-back, like it's just a bit weird, boys. I'm not. I mean, Banks had a good game, but he's 65 rated. There's no real reason he should be playing if they've got like Doucouré on the bench. I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking it, but I think it's something that EA do need to address because it happens far too often in previous FIFAs and obviously now in FC24, because I don't want that to take away from us winning games in the Prem, the fact that they're playing, bronze and silver players. I don't know, but I'm still happy with the win. Well, a big result, and one I'm very, very happy with. I'm not gonna take anything away from the result. Like I say, obviously, certain things that frustrate me that EA do, but I can't do anything about it, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. But we are now at the deadline day, which is fantastic. It's Pau and Chair have both hit their peak for the season, which is kind of disappointing. He's down as has something special, but he's only gone up 1 this season, and they're like, yeah, that's enough. That's infuriating. It feels like dynamic potential should kind of kick in that scenario. And Kenneth Powell as well, 74, apparently is his match potential, which with how good Kenneth Powell actually is, I think that's very, very unjustified. But, it is what it is. Wait, was that saying that Powell should be captain, actually? Maybe I misread that email. Who knows? But we're going to have a very quick gander at the biggest transfers of the window so far. Pedri to Juventus, £146 million. Hakimi to Atletico for 82.8. Man City selling Cancelo finally for just shy of 70 million. Darwin Núñez to Spurs. Wow, very interesting. Luis Diaz to Leipzig. Mate, Liverpool just getting rid of their attack, and at the moment, no replacements. Diaz and Núñez out. I can't see anyone obvious in. Mazraoui to Newcastle. Goncalo Ramos to Barcelona. Silva off to Man United. Baldanzi, it's a new player to me, off to Hoffenheim. Alvarez to Roma. Palhinha to Napoli. A lot of players leaving the Prem without a crazy abundance joining. Udogie goes to PSG. Yeah, this is interesting, boys. Torreira to Spurs. This is very interesting. Spurs strengthening here. Dalot, Torreira, and they've signed Darwin Núñez. This is an interesting transfer window. Richarlison goes for not a lot of money as well. Lukaku also finally leaves Chelsea on a permanent. So very, very interesting window, boys. Very interesting window. I'm going to go through one by one. I've got no intention of any other signings. I've already made one more signing than I intended by signing cash in. We've got £4 million. That £4 million is going to stay. From this point on, if we make any sales, it will be sales in the January transfer window, and those sales will be to fund players coming in. I don't plan on spending that £4 million. If I can keep that in the club, or if I need to use it on wages or things like that, then that is what it will be used for. I don't plan on using it for anything else. What I'll do is I'll go forward to the halfway point. We'll re-look at any sort of more recent sales and signings, because I can see another player has gone to Spurs. You guys may or may not have seen that one. Crazy business that Spurs are doing. They are well and truly going for this league title, I guess, this season. A player that we were also looking at there, by the way, Wu off to Celtic, I think it was. He is. So that's very, very interesting indeed. Let's have a little gander. Press the wrong button. It's a lot of free agent players moving. Wu to Celtic, Martial out on loan, Sam McCallum to St. Pauli. So Babu goes off to Copenhagen. Coman to Liverpool. So they have brought in a replacement for the Diaz sale, but no one in as of yet for Darwin Núñez. Very interesting indeed. But Mighton has left on loan. So that's probably a good loan move, actually. I think him getting some game time elsewhere. Hol Bellis again, another good loan move off to Union Berlin, my Bundesliga team, for anyone who is remotely interested. But this is it. Look, Rudiger to Spurs, 34 mil. They are just strengthening. They're just improving. Correa to Aston Villa. I'm glad we've already played them, because he's a hell of a player. Looking forward to not have to play him anytime soon. And Didi off to Osasuna as well. Just so interesting, because not many players joining the Prem. Plenty leaving, and obviously some going from Prem teams basically to Spurs. But yeah, very, very interesting, boys. Very interesting indeed. No big rumours on the left-hand side here, but we can see Molina's gone off to PSG. So that's a pretty big move. Karsdorp on loan's a bit of an interesting one. But yeah, Mendy linked to Chelsea. Interesting. Garnacho linked to Everton. Imagine. So Sarmiento did go to Newcastle there as well. Also, apologies. I've got a lot of these players loan listed still, and I just haven't changed it. So that's my bad. But El Neni was a free agent off to Freiburg as well. It's just some crazy, interesting moves. Like, I find a lot of this super, super interesting. Lewis Hall off to... I think it was Dortmund. That's kind of crazy. Sané off to Juventus. Almeida makes his move as well. 1 hour left. Be interesting to see if that Garnacho one does go through. But I don't think we've had any new additions apart from Coman. We haven't really had any new additions. Alvarez to Roma. That's new, I think. Very interesting. I think Alvarez is a hell of a little player. But yeah, nothing crazy new breaking through there. But that is the end of our deadline day. As I say, a bit boring QPR-wise, because I had no intention of making any purchases, any sales, but We've got Liverpool up next, who, as we know, a changed front three, a very changed front three. And then we've got a 2-week break. So that's really good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the training plan for all of the players on the pitch to be balanced. I think that's going to be the smartest play, maybe. I don't know. That's going to be what I do anyway. So fingers crossed that helps players like Willock. It helps Armstrong. It helps Chair. Although it's all going down, isn't it? Oh God, maybe I need to just let's have them all performance focused for the week. Is that stupid? I don't know. I'm gonna have a look at their stamina. I won't make you guys watch me do all of this. I'm gonna deal with it. Don't worry. We have also had our monthly scouting report. We'll see if there's any players that massively jump out. Finlay Alexander. I think he was somebody on the maybe pile last time, and I think he is going to be somebody that we sign right here. Joshua Blake, sadly, that potential is not high enough, my friend. Samuel Brown, I think the starting rating means that it will just never happen, bud. George Moore, I don't think we've got a youth keeper. So you know what, George? I'm gonna give you another month. I'll see what George looks like afterwards. Arthur Foster, 2.4 million starting rating, which means probably mid to high 60s, with a 76 to 94 potential. Yes, please. That is a fantastic pickup there. Nicholas Holloway, £500,000. Again, probably then half decent. So I'll give him another month. And Lance Oliver, also, that rating is not good enough. So I think I'll get rid of Aaron Sanderson. But George Moore, Nicholas Holloway, 2 potentials. We'll keep scouting them and see if anything comes of it. Okay, so I've had a quick little look at the expected team sheet from Liverpool. And as you can see, no Alisson, even though Alisson is still very much at Liverpool. They've got a pretty good front three still. Obviously, they've got Coman, who they brought in as well. So the likes of Jota, Gakpo, still very much there. Obviously, Salah, still very much there as well. Midfield looks a little bit interesting. But the middle three of like Morton, Arroyo, Vandenberg feels very, very, very weak compared to what Liverpool could and or should be fielding. Obviously, there's no Matip, there's no Van Dijk, there's no Gomez, there's no Konate. They're all at the club. I've had a look. They're all at the club. So it's frustrating if it's going to be that they are playing a weakened side. However, whether you cared or not, changing the sort of instructions and everything to being focused on match sharpness, super helpful because everyone is now fully match sharp plus fully match fit. So that's great. Willock, because he was at 0, is still not quite there yet, but he's getting there. But we're going with our strongest 11. I see no reason to not play our strongest 11. Whether Liverpool want to or not, I don't care. So that's their choice. But we're going to take on this Liverpool side. Hopefully, we can come away with something. It will be frustrating again if it feels like we got something because they're playing a weakened team. But it's also been playing Liverpool and playing Man City because of their play style. It's always ended up being like they're easier to play because they get tired within like 60 minutes. And then for the last half an hour, you can just score goals for fun because all their players have 0 stamina. Hopefully, again, these are things that are fixed because I would much rather play what feels like a really difficult game against one of the best sides in England, in Europe even, and lose than feel like we got gifted a win because the game doesn't function the way that it should. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, let's take on Liverpool. Early tackle there from Morton on Brun Larson. Really show him where he's at straight away. But yeah, come on, boys. Come on, you guys. Chrissy Willock here up against Robertson, up against one of the actual starting players for Liverpool. Finds a good pass here to Larson. Larson, can he on the turn find a pass? Not quite. Hamer made a really, really smart run, but we didn't quite find him. And Liverpool, by the way, playing the ball very quickly, playing some quick, like 1 or 2 touch football, which is, you know, difficult to defend against. So I'm ready for the challenge, boys. Got to be careful here. Salah steps into the box, plays it to Sildilia, stood at the edge there. He's had to look back and find Gravenberch, but Gravenberch firing his way through, plays a lovely strike down to Labrovic's right, but he's down to it, makes a very competent save, pushes that one away. And yeah, that's the first chance of the game for either side. And it's not necessarily who you thought was going to have the strike. You thought it probably would be Liverpool. I did. But yeah, it's been scrappy. Again, they're knocking the ball around really nicely and finding it difficult to win it off them. But you know, we've got to just keep working, boys. Good cross here from Robertson. Up goes Gravenberch. It's a good effort, but it's just wide of the post. Labrovic didn't go for it, so if it had been in that bottom corner, it would have found the back of the net. It would have been 1-0. But not just myself, but Labrovic, I'm sure, very happy to see that one go wide of the post. And you can see here the high press, the Gegen press from Liverpool, proving to be a bit of a problem. Let's just get that one out of there. Ball here with Chair. Oh, I was going to say he's pulled Sildilia out of position. But Armstrong now up against Vandenberg. Vandenberg is a big boy, but Armstrong is no mug. He's no pushover, I'll tell you that. Oh, a lovely ball through. Gakpo through one-on-one against Labrovic, and you always thought that was going to go into the back of the net. As soon as you saw it as a one-on-one, it was always going to be problematic there, boys. But it is what it is. It's a disappointing time to concede. It's a disappointing way to concede. Really nice play in the middle of the park. I think that might have been Sildilia who'd come central, but it's, yeah, not too much that I can ask Labrovic of. He closed the angle pretty well, but Gakpo does well enough to find the back in there. And it's 1-0 to Liverpool, which, again, probably what most would expect. And I have to say, despite it being a weakened Liverpool side, they've been an absolute nightmare to play against. I haven't actually challenged Kelleher once yet. We're going to play it out wide here to Brun Larsen, who's up against his defender. Not quite where we want Brun Larsen. I'd rather have him in the middle of the pitch. But Hamer, it just bounced off of Hamer there. It would have been nice if he could have just had a little touch and a control. I wouldn't have minded it going back to Armstrong afterwards, but it just bounced off of him instead of him having a bit of a control to then play a pass. But it's unfortunate. I think we're going to round the half up here, sort of around the halfway line. Sildilia going to play it down the line. Thankfully, the ref does eventually blow the whistle. It still feels like they get that extra little bit of time, the AI. It's crazy, but maybe I'm thinking things. But it's been a very difficult half. Liverpool have been all over us. I've barely touched the ball. I've touched it even less in their box, let alone their half. They've kept us very pinned back. It's been a scrappy affair from us so far. Liverpool, I'd imagine, on like maybe 60% possession. I'm going to have a little look and see what it is. Oh, 54. Okay, we've had a little bit more than I thought, but you can see the passes attempted very, very low. No shots. Therefore, obviously, no shots on target. But yeah, it's been really tough, boys. It's been really, really tough. I'm not entirely sure what to even change because there's not like... It's not like we're doing anything bad. We just can't get a foot on the ball to play something. Taking Field off is a very risky play, but bringing on Dazelle just as another like ball player, just somebody else when we have got the ball to try and find a pass. That's what we're going to try, boys. It's risky. It might like show no reward, but I've got to try something. You know, you've got to try something. Liverpool always going to be a tough opponent, so let's just give it our best for the second half and hope and pray that we can come away with something. Come on, boys. Oh, it's played through here to Jota. Jota up against... Oh, well done, Clark Salter. But we do lose it there, Oxford. Oxford does very well in the end to keep possession. But look, we're just having to play it backwards every time because they close us down so well. And Doughty now finds Willock. Willock, can he take it past Robertson? He does. He's got to keep it, though. Does so as well. Oh, Larson runs into it. Oh, hold on a second. Armstrong's going to have to shoot from the edge. Oh, it's a very good effort. Hits the woodwork. Kelleher was absolutely nowhere near it. I felt like I had to shoot quickly because the ball had got to Armstrong and he was surrounded by 2 or 3 players in red. So it was a bit of a sort of just a hit and hope, I guess. But it's a very good effort on his weaker foot as well, I would like to add. Very good effort from Singer Armstrong. A foul there from Oxford about halfway into our half. But 60 minutes in, and we've looked all right second half. Morton makes his way off the pitch for Kanate, so that is a centre-back coming on for a CDM. I would assume he's probably going to just run that CDM role anyway. That would be my assumption here. I'm going to take Willock off, and I'm going to bring on Chaplin. And then I think the play as well that would be quite smart, I want to say Paul Smith. I want to bring Paul Smith on up against Sildilia because I think he would just have good luck against him. I think he would just cause problems. So I'm going to set Smith to play Linden on at some point. Maybe. I don't think it's the right game for Linden because we're not really getting the ball up there. It's players to run onto things. So I feel like Linden's maybe not the right call. So the changes we made are both our creative players off. Chair and Willock off. Pretty much 99% of QPR fans would absolutely kick off if that happened. I know I would as well. So you can see they're not happy with it. Look at them fuming. But Paul Smith and Connor Chaplin coming on. Just fresh legs out wide because, again, I think a lot of the play is going to have to come from being creative down the wings, and it might mean absolutely nothing if we concede there. Gravenberch makes it 2. He's been very threatening all game. I can already hear the Hursty out chance going round after taking off Chair and Willock and then expecting to find not 1 but 2 goals to get anything from this game. But it's a tough one. I made the changes because in my head, in possession, they're changes that would make sense, but it doesn't really mean anything if you haven't got the ball, does it? So poor defence. They managed to just pass like 2-3 times and just work their way entirely through the whole squad. So it is what it is, boys. It is what it is. It's 2-0. It's as I said to you before, been pretty comfortable for Liverpool. Our only chance of the game fell to Armstrong, and he very, very good strike. Beat the keeper, but couldn't quite beat the post. But yeah, 2-0. And I hate to sound down about it, but I don't see us getting back into it now, especially with Liverpool pushing forward again. Gakpo into Jota. Jota on the turn, hits Oxford. Thankfully, it bounces out the box. Oxford there again to stop Gakpo from doing anything. And yeah, these sort of chances here as we're running through are the only chances we're really thriving off of here. And Brun Larsen is going to take that touch, going to play into Armstrong. Armstrong is going to find the back of the net for the possibly least needed sweat you've ever seen in your life. But we'll get that ball and we'll take it back because who knows, boys? Who knows? It really was there just a bit of a let's hope Larsen can beat his man. And he did. Kept the ball, kept his composure, played it just past Kelleher. And Armstrong finds the back of the net for his 3rd goal in 4 games. But maybe it's a lifeline. It's hope, boys. It's hope. Come on. Jota brings this ball forward. He's got runners on the inside there, but he's also got Salah running on the outside. Kenneth Powell trying to do his best to keep him quiet. Fails to do so. And Jota at that close post. Any hope that was there, absolutely blown away now. 3-1. 10 minutes on the clock. And Jota has bagged Liverpool's 3rd. And it's that probably now is curtains. I was being a bit defeated saying it was before, but the 2-goal cushion restored. Lavric at his close post. That's absolutely thundered in. I thought he was going to hit it to the far side. It's annoying to go under Lavrovic's arm, but not loads that can be done about it. There's only 10 minutes on the clock. Just going to rotate for the sake of helping players out stamina-wise a little bit here. Let's bring on... I guess we'll bring on Ozzy. I'm out of subs now. Okay, so Dunn's going to come on, as is Linden. Just for the last sort of 10. If it does lead to anything fantastic, if it doesn't, it is what it is. We scored in a game that we looked very, very unlikely to threaten, let alone score. But actually, Chaplin here, taking it past Robertson, or the heavy touch, or I've double tapped it to have him like knock the ball forward to try and just run that bit quicker. But the defender was maybe slightly nearer the ball than I anticipated. But Armstrong here, Vandenberg gets the touch in. Probably going to be all she wrote, boys. It's disappointing, but it is Liverpool. That is the full-time whistle, boys. 3-1 to Liverpool. Disappointing to obviously get losses full stop, but to get losses at home, obviously, there is that slight bigger level of disappointment. And the time of conceding, to concede just as we make some changes to try and get ourselves into the game, and then to concede just after scoring ourselves is disappointing. But like I've said 1,000,001 times, very good side in Liverpool. They've had a bit of an iffy start to the season. They're now on 7 points, only a point ahead of us. So it's not been their finest start, but you would happily take a half-decent performance against Liverpool. And I think, considering the sort of differences in squads, I think it was a half-decent performance. Well, they don't get any easier, boys. We lose to Liverpool, and the next game up is against Man United. As we said, though, we do have 2 weeks of sort of rest and recuperation. And one thing I want to do, I don't remember if I actually started Willock doing any form of sort of training to become a cam. If I didn't, I'm going to be really mad at myself that I haven't. I've left him on that. How long will it take for him to become a cam? 7 weeks. I'm just going to do that because he's playing out of position this whole time. I just want to get him into cam and just playing the position he's actually meant to play for me, because that's the position I'm playing him in, is a cam. So going to get that done. He'll be ready by the time United come around. I'll change everything up again so he's back to doing like some actual stat boosting stuff as well. But yeah, it is what it is. The table, for anyone who is interested as things stand right now, we are in 7th, which again, I'm not going to be frustrated about at all. It's a really positive start. Getting 6 points on the table early boards is fantastic days. But Wolves and Leeds both currently pointless. Not, you know what I mean? Without points is what I meant. Both on 0. Brighton on 1. But the teams coming up, so Leeds obviously on 0 at the moment, and Leicester on 4. So we are the best performing newly promoted side. But I am actually, something I mentioned earlier, I'm going to have a look as to where Abire Eze is, because as QPR fans, we like to know these players that we like and played really well for us. He's gone to Wolfsburg. Very interesting. I'm just going to scout him, just sort of see how he's doing. But that's very, very interesting. That is maybe, it's one of those things to be like, if we start to do well, maybe we bring him back to England. Would be a cool thought. But anyway, let's worry about this season. Let's worry about securing everything for now. Let's get ready for United, because that is not going to be an easy game at all. Okay, as we said, up against United at Old Trafford, going with our strongest 11, because for me, this is our strongest 11. Rotation will tend to happen if players are particularly out of form, or if there's anything in particular that I feel like I need to change. So none of that happened. Actually, one thing that I didn't do is check and see if Willock finished his training plan, which he must have done, right? Let me go check that. I realise now it's 7 weeks, not 7 days. I'm an idiot. Let's get back to the team sheet. As I was saying, let's see if we can go up and just put something on this United side, because we're playing, I think, okay football for a team that's only just come up. I think we're doing all right. We've scored some goals. We've scored 7 goals in 4 games. We've conceded 6, so you could argue that is part of the problem maybe. But En-Nesyri, a newer signing of United's, 4 goals so far in 3 appearances this season. So it's going to be a tricky one. It's, just like I said against Liverpool, it's a top squad with some rotated players. They have got Hannibal in there. They've got a young lad at centre-back whose name I want to say his name was Fish. That might be a lie. But yeah, there is rotation in this squad. So it'll be very interesting to see if we can, just maybe attack the weaknesses that are in the squad. Like Onana, I was going to just try and shoot and hope that it went straight at him and still somehow went in, because we've all seen what's happened to Onana this season. So fingers crossed we can, find the weaknesses in this United team, if there are any on FC24. But let's give our old boys. Come on, you us. Bruno Fernandes, edge of the box to Hannibal. Hannibal plays it back to Fernandes. Good tackle there from Gustavo Hamer. We bring this ball away now. It is Armstrong up against everyone. It was Fish at the back, by the way. That was his name. And also Neco Williams is who they've started right back, because obviously they sold Dallo, they sold Wan-Bissaka. So he is their new, I assume, first choice right back, unless they sign someone. But they might need to sign a new keeper, because Brun Larsen has found the back of the net. He has started tremendously for us, the Dane, and he continues the goal scoring threats. Very happy so far with the stripes. Who those people at the back just doing this? Boys, we have just scored against Manchester United in the Premier League, in our returning season to the Premier League. You can do a bit more than clap, all right? We're not Fulham getting 3-2 wins against Wolves and just sort of cheering a bit in a last-minute win. We love a good bloody goal. Come on, you R's, let's go for it. Huge win, huge win, huge goal. Don't get ahead of yourself, Tom. 3 goals in 5. Brun Larsen and Armstrong both scoring a plenty for us so far. Very happy with that. And it's 1-0, boys. Malakia here getting past Doughty initially, but Doughty gets back well, but a very good pass in, and Nesri is now going to get this ball. Hannibal plays it back into Rashford. Look at the play around. Really nice passing from United there. And Nesri forces the save from Labovic and wins United a corner. But this little knock around here, look, this little play, lovely stuff. And Nesri maybe could have taken a touch. I'm not too sure, but it's a good effort. It's a shot on target. It tests the keeper. You wouldn't be upset with the keeper being tested a little bit and getting yourself a corner and getting yourself maybe a chance to test again. Bruno there, really good turn. Eriksson taking his time, bringing it into the box, plays it to Rashford. Rashford again, really good strike, but Labovic with a fantastic save. I questioned whether Labovic was going to be good enough, and there was that period where he just wasn't. He was just conceding, and then I panicked and brought Begovic back in, and then Begovic wasn't doing well, and then as soon as we brought Labovic back since then, he has been phenomenal. He has absolutely stepped up to the plate for us this season. He has been very, very good. And that's a great tackle there from Chrissy Willock. Can we bring that ball away? And actually maybe a chance here to counter on the corner from Man United. Chair into Armstrong. Armstrong, oh, the ball isn't great to Larson. Larson nearly gets it past Lenormand, sorry, but the French defender gets in the way really, really well. And man, that could have been a real good chance for 2-0. 2-0 and we'd have been absolutely buzzing, boys. That would have been huge. Oh, Kenneth Powell gets past Williams. Mate, their fullbacks are getting so high up the pitch. And anytime we get a counter, our fullbacks or wide players have got so much space. And Armstrong now turns past one, turns into Williams. That's really unfortunate. But a poor clearance and Chair, edge of the box, hits it wide. It's the perfect place you want to see Chair in real life. It's that sort of position, open up on his right foot. I tried to do it, just push it onto his right, but he'd normally go for a top bins. I've gone for a bottom corner, and instead I found the board behind. So it's unfortunate, but we're looking pretty good, boys. I mean, bar 2 chances that were both relatively comfortable for Labrovic, we've been pretty dominant in this game, I have to say. Look at that. What an Oxford. Oh, good turn there from Ericsson. Going to find out wide here to Rashford, who's going to take a touch. I imagine he's going to play it inside, but it's a lovely couple of ball rolls. Ericsson into the box is Bruno Fernandes. Sam Field the shield gets in the way of the shot, and we get that ball away, boys. And I'm very, very happy to say we have survived the first half. It's 1-0 to QPR. It's a huge, huge result so far. That is a real good 45 minutes. We have kept En-Nesyri relatively quiet. One shot was on target, but it was very, very well saved. But yeah, we're just playing some good football right now, boys. We are just causing problems. And I think someone that's going to come on and cause problems is, again, it's that man. It's Paul Smith. Like, realistically, if we get in behind again in the way that we have, he is going to cause problems. I'm going to have him run up against Malakia because we've seen against Neco Williams, Chair twice has been away. The same thing can and will happen for Smith on that right-hand side because there is space to be found there because their play style is wing play, so their fullbacks are getting up and sort of overlapping and playing up with the wide players. So if we survive those attacks, counter, we've got real chances on our hands here, and maybe another one here as Chair wins it. Oh, I wanted it through to Brun Larson, but Malakia wins it, but not very convincingly, and does well enough, actually. Really good stuff in the end there to keep that away from Paul Smith. But like I was saying, our wide players could potentially get a little bit of luck here. Our wide cams could do some damage. Let's see if we can make that come into fruition in the second half. But let's survive this chance first. Ericsson, look at the space here for Amad Diallo. Diallo going to try and cause us problems. Good defence in the end. Kenneth Powell gets back. Williams, though, brings it forward into En-Nesyri. And Labrovic with another phenomenal save down to his right. And En-Nesyri, again, trying to cause us the problems. Hannibal makes way for Casemiro. Again, players like that, you'd assume in FC24, in career mode, Casemiro starts every day over Hannibal. Hannibal's probably like mid-70s, like somewhere between like 72 and 76 right now, I'd imagine. There's no way Casemiro doesn't start. I'm sorry, but that needs to be sorted. But Chair's going to bring this away. Let's get back into focusing on this for a second. Smith. Oh, I've tried to take it past Malakian, but Smith does win the throw-in. Brun Larson, lovely touch there. Brings Smith into it. And Paul Smith takes it. Oh, not past somebody. Play it into Brun Larson. We're going to have to rotate this round. But look at the just space that we're finding for each other here. Smith, get that ball in the box. It's not the best cross, but Field should win this. Oh, it's Larson back there. Larson does win it, but it's well cleared. Ball being brought forward here. Ericsson finds En-Nesyri in the middle. En-Nesyri with a really good play into Diallo. Diallo going to be closed down by Kenneth Powell. Kenneth Powell does so well. Wins that ball, brings it away. And again, you can see here, look at where Williams is. Now Gustavo Hamer trying to burst through. We see the run from Chair. Chair is going to get it. Chair now. Can we try and bring this forward and inside? Chair, get that ball into the box. It's to the edge of the box. I wanted it into Larson or Armstrong. I didn't even mind who it went to, but it didn't go to either. It's gone to United. They bring it away. And En-Nesyri now, can he try and bring this ball forward? Finds Diallo again. Kenneth Powell back well, but it finds Casemiro. Casemiro hits it wide of the post. We are absolutely just surviving at this point, boys. Absolutely surviving. You can see, by the way, I've made a plethora of changes. Chair, Oxford, Brun Larson and Doughty make way for Chaplin, Cash and Dykes and Kakai. All changes because of stamina. All changes because of fitness and the need of rotation. I don't think I can make any more, can I? No, because I brought Smith on at half-time, so I have made my 5. But we are very lucky that... Oh, that's not what I wanted. Jesus Christ. I wanted that ball to cash in. But yeah, we are very, very lucky there to have not conceded. It has been... I'm not going to say it's been comfortable because it hasn't been, but it's been relatively low threat levels until that chance there. Casemiro hits it wide of the post. So lucky, but I'm giving away the ball in silly chances. I gave it away with Ozzy, and that's kind of led to this chance here as Luke Shaw brings it forward. Ozzy's got to just try and keep him somewhat closed in. Smith comes to help. Cash in with the header clear. Hamer doesn't pick it up at the edge of the box. Casemiro with the strike. Labrovic with another phenomenal save. He has been very, very good for us today. He has been just stepped up to the levels that we know he can, and he did during the championship season. And now we get the ball. Lyndon Dykes puts the game to bed, boys, as we come away with a 2-goal win. A win at Old Trafford. You could say levels of unrealistic, but boys, United have been a bit sloppy through like certain parts of the season. Oh, the EA also, if the players are going to go Garrity, let the fans go mad. Have cutscenes where the fans are absolutely losing it, because they would be. I can promise you, if I'm at Old Trafford and we've just bagged our second goal to win 2-0 at Old Trafford, I'd be losing my absolute mind. I'd be absolutely losing it, lads. So I think right there, that is huge for the boys. A huge result. Hopefully now that should be a huge win as well. And let's not forget, by the way, United are currently top of the table in this save, and little old QPR have gone to their stomping ground and picked up 3 enormous points. That is absolutely mental. Those are the kind of games that you look back on for a newly promoted side and you think that was huge. That was a huge game, huge result. We've picked up something massive there. Absolutely love to see it, boys. 2-0, 3 points, and a huge result. Well, boys, what a way to round up today's episode with a huge win, a huge result. And we're sat in 6th. Like, what? I was saying, oh, don't worry, we won't be sat here for that long. Who knows at this point, because we're pulling results out of nowhere. Absolutely massive. United dropped to 2nd with Villa overtaking them. 5-goal difference is the main thing that separates them. City and Arsenal both still unbeaten as things stand, but on 11 points each. Liverpool on 10, and then we're in 6th, joint with Brentford on 9 points. Absolutely mental. Leeds and Wolves still without a point, so that's looking to be a very tough start to the season for them. But we're going to round this one up there, boys. That is going to be where we're going to round today's episode. Let me know if you think we need to tweak any settings, if I need to tweak any sliders. I'm happy to put things on Ultimate, but as we saw before, I just don't think I'm good enough to play Ultimate, and I think even if I was playing in League 2, I'd be struggling to get points. So let me know. I'm happy to rotate things where needed if you guys want to see things, because we got thumped by Liverpool. We got thumped by Villa. So us beating United or getting points against anyone doesn't necessarily mean the game's too easy. It could just be that it's a good matchup for me and that I've matched up well against it. As soon as I identified the fullbacks were getting forward, I tweaked the settings on my wide players. We made the most of it. So let me know what you guys think, and let me know if you're enjoying this series by leaving a like on it. It supports me, the video, the channel, and the series out a whole bunch. If you're new, hit the sub button and turn notifications on to be told anytime that we upload a video. If you want to watch us on our live streams, it's Hursty Games over on Twitch. There's a link down below along with all my other social medias. Feel free to go check them out, show them some love. But that's it for me, guys. Thank you for watching. I've been Tom. You guys have been awesome, and I'll see you very soon. Look after yourselves, and of course, wash your hands. Take care, guys.